What? Hi, welcome to Rock Bottom Artworks, where my cats won't leave me alone. Alright, so there's a lot I want to cover. So you want to make art. Maybe you're stuck in a rut. You don't know what to do next. Maybe you just got that creative block. Maybe you're a famous artist that has troves of art lovers and fans, and obviously you probably know more than me at that point. But hopefully, regardless, you'll all at least enjoy some of what I have to offer here. That being said, I want to start off with, in my opinion, some of the basics. And when I think of the basics, when I think to myself, what are the basics of becoming a better artist? What is fundamental really bringing your art to the next level? What do you need to have that's going to help you to make the best artwork that you can? And there's two things that came to my mind. Number one, drawing. If you can't draw, you won't be able to apply any other talent in the arts. Drawing is fundamental to everything. It has to do with being able to see basic shapes, basic forms, basic proportions. You need to be able to define lines and shapes and shadows and all of these things. And these skills come in with drawing. That's how you train your eyes to see the world in a different way. From doodles to sketches to cartoons to drawings with a stick in the dirt. Drawing is fundamental. It's important. It's a skill you need to have if you want to be in the arts. Whether it's painting, sculpting, whatever it is, you need to be able to draw. By learning how to draw, you're going to train your eyes to see proper shapes, proper form, proportions, perspective, light, shadows, and even more complex stuff. So what's the quickest way to learn to draw? In my own humble opinion, there's no better way to get the most bang for your buck than with using grid. Now, what is grid, you ask? The grid technique is one of the oldest, most tried and true methods of laying out a pattern or design from one medium to the other, or just to be able to take something in real life and transform it into a 2D image or even a 3D image. It goes all the way back to ancient Egypt. And it could be even older than that. What is wild is that before you can make a reliable grid that's going to give you correct, equally spaced stuff, you have to be able to measure the equally distant lines accurately. It's very important, which it sounds easy, but it's actually far from the truth. Quit it! What's your deal? Come on. Get Bert. Now this is going to lead me down a bit of a bunny trail, but you're going to have to indulge me because I'm a huge history buff. It wouldn't hurt anybody that wants to be in the arts to get a little art history as well. So in ancient Egypt, they were so prosperous that they had such an abundance of materials and foods and whatnot that they were able to have an entire class of people that could just sit around all day and think about things. And these were called priests. Really? Seriously, you can't even shut the door. How do they open the door? So these priests, right? These priests, never gonna finish this video. Oh, so like they would measure things. One guy one day, I guess, was like, hey, we need like a standard way to measure things. And so he's like, I know, like let's measure the pharaoh's arm, you know? So that's what they did. They literally measured from the elbow to the tip of the pharaoh's finger, and that was the standardized unit of measurement for the Egyptians. Now, one of the problems with this is that it kind of caused a few problems because, you know, different pharaohs, different sizes, you get the picture. So eventually they had to actually standardize it in a different way, and I'm not really sure how they did that, but I can look into that. So eventually they called this thing a cubit. Imagine being able to accurately and consistently measure things led to some pretty cool things, you know, like mathematics and hello language. Granted, these things probably started out in a different way, in a different place, and scientists are still fighting about what that is, but, you know, historians, whatever they are, Egyptologists, archaeologists, all the ologists, they fight about these things. The point is that measuring things is important because measuring things allows us to use math, and math brought about some pretty cool things, you know, like that giant triangle stony thing in the desert. And the amount of mathematics that went into building that thing is actually mind-boggling. Definitely beyond anything I could understand, but it's still fun to look into. All right, so why is this important? Well, it's important because mathematics plays a huge role. Mathematics plays a huge role in art. If you want to create good art, there are certain fundamentals of mathematics that are just going to help you immensely when it comes to creating art and creating good art. It's going to play a role, so you need to know that in advance, and you need to account for that and try to at least do some studying to look into it and understand it at least a little. It can make all the difference in creating good art. Good art is something that's going to be able to tell a story. It's going to be able to move people. It's going to be pleasing to the eye. It moves you in a powerful way, right? There are two ways of using it. There's the standard 2D version where you just outline the grid on top of a reference image, and then you do another corresponding grid that is whatever size you want, but with the equal amount of squares to the reference grid. And then you're going to want to mark vertically and horizontally on the outside of the image. You just want to mark them, either numbered or lettered, however you could use hieroglyphics if you wanted to. I don't really care, it doesn't matter. Just so you can reference each individual square. So if you got one square up here, you use the grid. So you got a square, this is H, and this is an Egyptian crocodile over here. So you want Egyptian crocodile and H, so that's going to tell you that's the square you're looking at. And it's going to reference exactly where you want to put this specific shape in that specific square. It's going to help you transfer. The second is a sort of like frame wire thing, kind of like this. Accomplishes is it's going to give you a frame of reference from where all the shapes, lines, and images in the reference are located so that you can reproduce them on your final media. By breaking down the image into each individual square, it allows you to look at the shapes and lines and curves within that individual square and where they start. For example, each little square holds basically what is broken down into as shapes, curves, and lines. The grid is going to allow you to position those lines, shapes, and curves very, very, very accurately, where they start and where they stop, how much of a curve there is. And grid is one of the most versatile and useful tools that you could have in your toolkit as an artist. Don't ever let anybody tell you that using this technique is somehow cheating. It has been used by artists throughout all of time, like this guy. Oh, and this guy. They did stuff like this, and stuff like this, and this thing, and that thing. But they started with drawing. Drawing is fundamental. I can't beat that dead horse enough. Learn to draw. Anyway, well, congratulations. If you've done this, if you've practiced it, you've just arted. I'm gonna go. Hope you'll see me next week. Oh, sure. Now you don't want to be in the room. Guys are jokes. Next time I'll be covering different tools and techniques with those tools that I have for either illustration or painting. I might split them up into 2 different videos just because there's a lot. There's a lot of different tools. There's a lot of different techniques for those tools. It's almost unending. It's one of my favorite things, as most artists can tell you, is supplies. So hopefully I'll get into that next week, and hopefully I'll be seeing you next week. So make sure to comment, like, subscribe, and if you like my content, please consider donating. I got a link in the description to a PayPal that you can use to donate to bring you more content and history, art history, and all that kind of stuff. Really? Now you come in? On a more serious note, things are really, really crazy right now in the world. Things are pretty wild. It's a very uncertain time for everybody. So, I don't know, do what you can. If there's somebody that you love, make sure to tell them that you love them. Tell them how much they mean to you. If there's somebody that you need to make something right with, make it right with them. You have no idea how much effect you have on other people. We could really all use a little bit of kindness and love, especially with the way things are in the world. With that, I love you guys. I don't know you, but I hope you're doing well, and may God bless you. trying to work here. Trying to work here. Still recording. Bye, guys.